Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to the show, and please tell us where are you tuning in from. Today we have a very special guest. He's an engineer and he's a master in lean management. He is also doing programs for sales and strategy, and he's an author. He is also a sports international. Before he was a sports international, we'll hear all about his story. Please welcome with me Shay, Lynch. Shay, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic, Ahmed. Thank you very much for having me on. I'm delighted to be here. It's an honor.
Yeah, I'm happy to see you today, and we are excited for the show today.
Brilliant, brilliant. And welcome to all your audience. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everybody. Yes. Shay, if we start with your journey, tell me you are worked as an engineer, then you moved to lean management and sales and strategy. You have long history and experience. Tell me, what do you prefer? And you prefer working by yourself as an entrepreneur, or working as a consultant, or engineering, sales? Tell me, what's your
Well,
preference?
that's a very long question, or there
Yeah,
could be a very long answer to that one, Ahmed.
take
But
your
I've
time.
always wanted to be an engineer in my life. Since I was a kid, I wanted to be an
Yeah,
engineer. I used to break things as a kid so I could fix them, you know, and that's what I love, solving problems. But when I did my 4 years of engineering college and then I did my first job in engineering, 2 weeks into it, I was going, is engineering all about just signing paperwork, non-conformance reports, quality reports? I was going, I can't do this. I can't.
uh,
It's not what I thought. So I was lucky to get into a thing called lean and process improvement. I was working for a Japanese company called Fujitsu, and they
yeah,
were amazing. So
they're
I
famous.
got
Yeah.
into their way of working and I loved lean. That was 2 weeks out of college. I changed my job and that's
Wow.
how I started. And I just loved everything about lean, working on things as opposed to working in processes. And I've been doing that pretty much all my life as a like a worker. But I started doing lean consultancy with consulting firms, and then I decided to set up my own business because I believe lean should be the way businesses work. Like it's great. I was in projects with a consulting firm in lean sales. Then I was doing lean marketing, lean operations, and lean supply chain. And then I said to myself, well, if I can do this in every part of business, can I help businesses as a whole? Can I help a small business as a
True.
whole? So that's what I said. You know what? I think I can. So that's what I did. You know, but it was fun. It was like it wasn't this straight line though. It was never, nothing ever is, Ahmed. But it's
True.
it's something that I
Yes.
love because I love everything. For me is a problem to solve. It's an opportunity to improve, whether it's a process or a business, and that's what I love. Like so, I don't really say to people that I'm a lean business coach. I just help companies with performance and I solve their big problems.
Yeah, that's great, of course. And as you're saying, lean is a concept of life. So you're just simplifying everything, trying to simplifying everything, find the right way and the quickest way to reach and solve problems to companies. And it's a great history, of course, in your jobs, Shay. And good that you decided that you, with your experience, to open for yourself and finding the whole business solution for organizations. That's really
Thank you.
great. We have here Dr. Lab Singh from India. He's sending his regards. Also, Susan joining from
Thank you,
Westchester.
Dan.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Great to have you.
Thank Yeah, great to have you all in. So tell me, Shay, what about, I see your work on systematic sales solutions and all that. So if we talk about like generating sales leads, what do you think are like 3 to 5 key steps of generating sales leads for if you're selling a product online, for example, or for any kind of sales?
Well, just one thing I'll say to you first and foremost, right? Like the
Yeah,
concept is the same. It doesn't matter what type of business you are. It's the same
true.
concept. The only difference is application and scale, right? So the very first thing I like, if I give you an example when I work with clients, the very first thing I always ask, tell me what the word lead means for your business. Okay. And
Yeah.
they can't answer that, because they have all these generic terms. And if you only know generic terms, you can only solve generic problems. You cannot get specific to your customers. So it's really important to understand what that word lead means to your business. And you don't get it right in the beginning, but like lean, you continually tweak and iterate it. So you start lead generation. You'll see what worked, what didn't work, what do I need to change, how do I redefine the term lead. So that's to me is the first most crucial part, is understanding lead. Then if you're talking about the generating leads, like you need to, from that word lead, you need to know where your marketplace is, right? And then go
Yes.
directly to them, but also know who has access to your marketplace, So there needs to be two routes that you need to take. And if I can give an example, my first job, I had another company before where because of lean, I was very interested in lean and process efficiency and process effectiveness. I set up a business in the renewable energy sector. So like energy efficiency and clean energy, there was great compliments, and it was the next big thing until the recession of 2008 happened, but that's a different story. But when I started looking at this whole process, and like we were doing fantastic business, but I had never sold before in my life. I'm an engineer, right? I'm an
Yeah.
engineer. I was a good engineer. I never tried sales. And I sat down at my desk, and my role in the business was to develop business. And my business partner was to design systems and install systems and implement them. So I sat down on my first day, and I sat down at my desk and go, what the hell do I do now? It was just like, oh my God, like I have to do something here, because if I don't generate sales, I don't get paid. So I had to really figure out, and I have to say, I applied the whole concept of lean, and that is about adding value at every touch point. Like
True.
lean is not about cutting costs; it's about adding value at the lowest possible cost. So I
True.
started building a value system. So I started talking to architects and engineers, but then like instead of like I was getting on phone calls and saying like, God, this is what I do, we're an amazing company, we'd love to chat, and I was getting the phone slammed on my face. So I had to keep thinking of ways to get over each step. And the reason why I'm telling you the story is that, like, yeah, you have to generate leads, but the more you improve the steps in between, the less leads you have to generate, because you're improving your conversions all the way along. So instead of me picking up the phone call asking for a meeting, I'd say, look, I'm offering a complimentary CPD session, a continuous professional development for your company in all things renewable energy. How does that sound? And then I was getting a lot of conversions there. And then when I got into the company, then I had the chance to shine. So it wasn't just telling them how good I was demonstrating how good I was. And the reason why I'm telling you that, the best way to generate solid leads is to add value before the sale. Add value,
Okay.
because then you add value, you build up trust. It will add an extra step in the process, which may not sound lean, but it's a high converting process. So add value before the sale is probably one of the biggest things I would say to anyone there. Always be looking to help. And again, if you think lean, Ahmed, I know you're familiar, it's not about cutting corners or taking shortcuts. It's about adding value first and foremost at the lowest possible cost and the quickest possible speed.
True, it's a great concept, and as you said, you need to put a message before you do sales, not to direct sales or cold selling. You have to break the ice first with some kind of a message that adds value. I totally agree with you on that point. And also, I see where you have a lot of work also on strategy, and you're really interested in strategies. So, also, if we talk about strategies, what are the key steps to generate a winning strategy? Like if you top three on your mind or something
Top
like that.
trade, right? Well, the first thing I will say is, right, like if you think of what's happened in the world over the last year with the pandemic, everybody's 5 year strategies have been blown out the window. They can't, like, they
Yes.
don't, things have changed so much. In fact, the only constant in business today is change. So you have to be flexible and adaptable to change. And guess what lean
Yes.
is? It's applying principles. Like,
True.
yes, I think it's so important. The first thing I'd like to share is you need that North Star. You need that vision, right?
Vision.
Forget
Yeah.
about time. Just create that vision. That's the stuff that's going to stay in your mind all the way through. And then you pare it back into sizable pieces of work, 3 months work. Well, what's the first milestone I need to do on this big vision? And then build your plan. Set targets. And here's the thing, Ahmed, this is really important. You set targets, and then when you don't reach the targets, which you won't because it's the first time, then you play a game called close the gap planning and implementation, where you go, well, what do I need to change? What worked well? What didn't work well? What do I need more of? What do I need? I keep doing that every month, because every month then you're getting closer and closer. But here's the thing, because you only have done a 3-month batch of work, if something changes in the marketplace, you haven't invested too much money, you haven't gone so far, you keep checking in all the time to make sure, one, is the vision still relevant? If it is, fantastic. If it doesn't, what do you need to change? Do I need to pivot? Do I need to just tweak it a little bit? And then the final thing is, if it's not relevant because something like a pandemic has happened, how are you going to adapt? So it's all like it's a game of continually iterating. Strategy isn't this big long-term thing people think it is. It's continual adaptation of your customers and your marketplace.
True, it's a continuous process improvement, and you have to measure and tweak on the way, and that's the beauty of the strategies. It's not like a sentence that you put or something. You have to be alert, and you have to change it on the way. We have here a question. You ready to take a question?
Yeah.
We have a question from Dr. Lev saying, he's saying that there are companies called learning organizations, organic companies, flat organization, and lean organizations. Can you relate it to sector-wise business and differentiate, or the organization type is system agnostic? Please help me to understand this.
Well, like what I will say, Doctor, is that the most important thing about strategy is to keep it simple. Like there's many different theories, methods, concepts. There's so many things, and you could read books about all these things, but I'll tell you now, the simplest way is what I've just said. Make it simple. Have your vision. Make sure you know that, but break it down to chunks of work. What's your first milestone? It's just because then what you do is you're continually iterating, because what you think, what you believe today, by the way, about your vision is only on the information you know today. By continually iterating and checking in on a periodic basis, say 3 months, you're learning more. So your idea of your vision improves and develops. So I would say the most important thing for you is to find out what are the value pieces of work you need to do. And the other thing I'd say, if you've got a business, make sure your team are absolutely involved in this process, because it's not about you sitting in an office in a corner. Your team have great information, bring them with you, make them succeed with you. It's not just about business success. If you want true success in your business, you need to find that sweet spot between your business and your success and your team's success. Make that journey together. And just keep it really simple and let it evolve.
True, I agree with you, because before when we were talking like in organizations that I worked in before, like setting the strategy was like top management going traveling for a week or something and setting the strategy, and nobody knows about it, or it's not well informed through all the organization and through all the team. It's supposed to be everybody knows it, and it's supposed to be reported every quarter or something. Where are we from the strategy? Where are we from the vision? So that people feel that they belong to the organization, feel that they align to the vision.
Yeah. So important.
I totally agree with you. So we'll go. I hope we answered the question, of course, Dr. Lev Singh. And if you need anything more, you're free to ask, and you're free to message me or message Shay anytime.
Absolutely, yes.
Shay, tell us about your passion for writing and the monkey business, and how did you get to win an award in Ireland in 2019? Tell us the story.
Well, going back to my journey, right? Like I had been working for consulting firms, and I had a decision to make. I wasn't entirely happy within a company, and I had a disagreement, and we decided to part ways. Well, I decided to leave the company literally that day, and my family have a place in Spain, right? So literally that day, I booked a flight to Spain, and I arrived there that night, and I was sitting on my balcony with a glass of wine, just after
Yeah.
leaving a job, and going, "What the hell do I do now?" Again, another moment of what the hell, right? And
Yeah.
I said to myself, well, do you know what? I'm going to set up my business. But I knew I had all these great ideas because of my lean background, but I
Yeah.
didn't know. It's one thing knowing stuff up here, but putting it down on paper and structuring it. I said
True.
to myself, if I'm going to go out on my own, I need to write a book. Firstly, to teach me what I know. That was the first
Yes.
goal. And how do I consolidate it and structure it and make it into a systematic process that makes sense, that I know I can help. So I spent over a year writing this book and developing different chapters on it while working with clients and tweaking the process as I went. So for me, what I find and what I learned from that process, Ahmed, is it's like book isn't about here's a book, I'm brilliant, write a book and showcase it. Yeah, that's part of it. But I saw it as an opportunity to learn about me and what I know, and put it. And that was hugely inspiring for me alone. So then I wrote another book, which I haven't published, but I'm passionate about achieving things. I've written a book on goal setting and goal achievement,
Great.
not to
Yeah.
publish it, but to teach me how to achieve goals.
But
So
you
it is. I
should you
find
should
it
publish.
very I will. I will. My plan will be.
Yes.
But I find it if because one of my own previous bosses said this to me. The best way to learn something is to teach it. You know,
Yes.
and put
True.
yourself in a situation where you have to learn it because you learn quickly and learn effectively. And that's what I did with that book. So the book is all about monkey business, how to quit the monkey business in your business so you can build a sustainable and successful business. So that's my catchphrase I say to companies when I see them doing things that are not very efficient. I said, why are you monkeying around? That's monkey
Yeah.
business. You should really focus on the value. So that's where it's sort of a catchphrase that I use.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great, and it's great that it led to this award that's sitting here beside you, the 2019. That's
Yes,
really nice.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. I won that award was for Thought Leader of the Year in Ireland in what I do. So I
Oh,
was very honored
that's great.
with a
That's
very,
that's a
very
great
big
honor
community
for.
to win that award. So yeah, very grateful. I'm very lucky.
Thanks, Shay. What about sports? And I know that also you are a big sports. Tell us in which sport that you were really big, going big on it, and how did it shape your character, and why did you stop, or it's still a hobby?
Well, it's a very good question. I still love the sport. It's table tennis. When I was younger, I
Yeah.
played international table tennis, and I played table tennis since I was a very young kid. My father was a brilliant player in his day, and my younger brother was like I was good, but my younger brother was amazing at it, and he's been at the World Championships. He's done
Wow.
lots of things with it. But our family were big on table tennis. But I was playing when I was in my day. I was playing 20, 30 hours a week while working a job. And I loved it, Ahmed. But
Yeah.
the problem is when life got too busy and I
Yeah.
didn't have time to practice as much as I would like, I
Yes.
couldn't play it because I was too competitive. I just either had to put everything into it.
Very
So that was I
competitive.
gave
Yeah,
up
I know.
many, many years ago, and I'd love to take it back up. And I'd also love now knowing about psychology, what I know now, and apply that because it's not
Yes.
just about the
It's
physical,
mental.
it's the
Yeah.
you know.
It's mental.
So
Yes.
it is. So it's a fantastic sport. But what it taught me about life, it taught me discipline. It taught me
Yes.
persistence. It taught me to continue on a journey, and it also taught me to be healthy. Because in order to play at your best, you have to be as healthy as you can be. So I believe sport is a great avenue to help you be the best version of you.
True.
Because in
True.
order to, and I don't know about you, Ahmed, I'm not one of these people that can eat whatever food I like and wake up in the morning and feel great. If I eat bad food, I feel bad. It's as simple as that.
That's true.
So
That's
I
true.
need So it's taught me. I think sports is such a fantastic thing. Healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy mind and healthy body. I just think that it's a great synergy there. And I love, even now, I still exercise a lot. I set goals. I do marathons, and I love, like you love this, Ahmed. I don't just train for a marathon like a normal runner. I use lean. That sounds really bad
Yeah.
because I look at all the different variables that I can control. So I would do work on
Yes.
breathing techniques to improve my breathing. You know, I
Great.
would do cold therapy to improve my body. I would I would I would do different types of sprints. I use the 80-20 rule. What is the 20% of the running activities that will give me 80% of my results? So
Yeah.
I really try and be smart and use different mechanisms to actually deliver it. So I do a lot of weights to improve my hips and my squats to improve all my glutes. So I think outside the box, and that's what lean taught me to do. So I'm a little bit mad.
Yeah, no, it's good that you also apply the systematic approach on sports, and I totally agree with you. It's very competitive. I'm a big sports fan also, and I used to play table tennis. Not
Oh
like you,
wow.
like yeah, not like you internationally, but it's like been my hobby for years. Yeah, for 15 years or something. I was playing and participated in some tournaments, but like exhibition tournaments, not something international. But I love the sport, but needs really it's big competition, especially that Chinese were always in control of it. I know, and
Yes.
it really needs a lot of focus, very fast response.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing sport, and it's good to see that you're applying concepts of the business while training.
Yeah. But like I think it's the 80-20 rule. Like
Yes.
especially when I get older, like I set myself challenges every year. I don't
Yeah.
have the time to do everything and anything to do it. I need to be smart. So, what is the 20% of the activities that will give you 80% of what you need to do? So, it's the Pareto rule. And that applies everywhere. And even within that, I'll go one step further, Ahmed. And this is really important
Uh,
relating it back to businesses. What's the 20% of activities will give you 80% of your results in business? And then within that, there's the square root rule. So, the square root of say of your team will do more than 50% of your work. So say if you have 50, say if you have 100 people, the square root of
yeah.
that, 10 of those people will do 50% of the output for your business. So it's understanding those metrics that can really help you shape what you do and when you do it.
Wow, that's great, Shay. We have here Tulika. She likes the phrase monkeying around, and I agree with her. Thank you, Tulika, for coming in. Dr. Lev Singh here is advising you to play golf, saying it's a
Oh,
great game for leaders.
yeah. Well, thank you, Dr. Singe. I used to play golf,
Thank
but
you,
it was the
Dr.
same
Lev.
as the table tennis. I used to be pretty good, but when I wasn't
Yeah.
practicing, I stopped playing because I didn't play as good. So I have to be practicing because I like to win. I'm very competitive.
Yes,
So I
that's
got down
what's
to,
what's the sports make you really competitive, especially if you go to tournaments and all that, and it stays with you after
oh, it
you
does.
stop playing. Yes.
But I have to remember now that I'm not going to be a world champion at golf, so I should probably start playing again. you
Ahmad
know,
Musa sending
Hi,
his
Ahmed
regards
Musa.
also. Hi Ahmad, how are you? He's a great also supply chain practitioner and
Wow,
professor. Yeah, he's coaching. He's a good friend. Hi
brilliant.
Ahmad, nice to meet you. So tell us about your finally your goals in 2021, and I know that you have really ambitious projects in 2021. Share it with us, please.
Well, like the way the world has gone, Ahmed, like I do a lot of work with customers and I'm very busy, I'm very happy and I'm very grateful. But like so many businesses around the world have been turned upside down with this pandemic. And regardless
Yes.
if you agree with the strategies governments are deploying, whether lockdown, it's irrelevant because the consequence is still the same. It's not going to change. A lot of companies have been decimated. There's a lot of great companies there that are just stroked. So a big part of my passion is to help companies. So my goal is
Yeah.
to help companies this year and build programs for them so they can actually learn how to thrive in good times and bad by applying really good systems in the key parts of their business for strategy, operations and sales and supply chain. How can they
Great.
be the best at every core part of the business? So being the best everywhere will lead to a really good company, and that can thrive. And I know that myself, Ahmed, because when I had a business in the last recession, and we were owed seven-figure sums, and we owed a lot of money on the other side, but we couldn't get paid. And we dug
Yes.
deep to figure out that business, and we did. And we figured out how to thrive during a recession. And I know if I can do it, I know many companies can do it. There is a system, there is a formula, and that's what I want to share with companies this year. So that is my goal. That's my ambition.
It's a big goal, and true, because you saw you faced this before in the 2008 recession. So I'm sure that you will be able to succeed in it and help more and more companies to succeed in it.
Brilliant. No, I appreciate that, Ahmed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shay. Thank you for joining us today. And before we go, I always end with, do you have any questions for me before we go?
Well, I would love to know your plans, Ahmed. I hear all about your amazing skill sets in supply
Thank you
chain.
so much.
If I was to ask you one question, what's the biggest thing supply chain can do this year to help them improve their service?
Well, it's a good question, Shay. Of course, applying technology, and because now all the companies should go to like cloud-based technology, and try to go also towards blockchain, because things are moving so fast, and if companies don't follow that, they will fall behind. If companies still depend on the linear system, they will fall behind, because you need a lot of data. I need to process a lot of data. I need also to work on big data analytics, the flow of information through all the supply chain from supplier to customer and fast will make you speed up the decision making process, and this is what you are looking for. And of course, on the way, it's all about people. You must train your people to understand everything, because they are the ones that are going to carry the business. So this is what I see is the big thing in 2021, especially with all what's happening in the pandemic. The people need to know by like prescriptive and predictive analytics what's happening, and they try to predict what's happening, have contingency plans and all that.
No, that's fantastic. Like mining big data is so important, you know.
Yes,
It really is.
yes.
Yeah.
We have here a question we can take,
Okay.
of course. What would be your words of advice to the new entrepreneurs? Be that yourself being an entrepreneur since 2008, so you've been around this. So what's your advice? What they should focus on?
Well, focus on what you love. Like whatever you're doing as an entrepreneur, make sure you love it with everything you have, Talika, because then like no matter how much work you need to do, it's not work. You're building your passion, you're building your dreams. Otherwise, if it's not something you love, it's going to create resistance and stress inside your body. It is so important to build your purpose, because putting in those long hours, it doesn't even become an issue. It's a part of who you are and what you want to achieve. So make sure your purpose, your whatever your entrepreneur business matches your purpose and what you feel inside. That's so important.
That's a great advice, of course, to have the why and the purpose and the passion. So that's how you can and believe in it, and you will succeed by hitting hard and go and being consistent day in day out. Of course, I totally agree with you. We have Gerard Fernandez here, is appreciating the insights. Thank you so much for joining, and we have Pragmat also joining, giving us some of his achievements. We are glad that you're sharing this with us, that he achieved 2 critical goals in 2020.
Well done. Continue.
And he's continuing in 2021 and implementing learnings during pandemic lockdown and working from home. Thank you so much, Craig, for joining us and giving us these great insights. Kim Araman, also our friend, is joining great discussion. And she's saying, Jay, you're the master of funnels. I agree. I agree with
Thanks, Kim. Thank you.
Ahmed Khalid is joining us, also our good friend. Amazing interview.
Good friend
Thank you,
Ahmed.
Ahmed,
How
for
are you,
joining
my
us.
friend?
Thank you so much. Dr. Lav Singh is still talking about golf, of course, and it seems that he's a big fan of
There
golf
we
and he
go.
wants you to practice golf. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should start teaching golf, Dr. Singh. I think
Yeah,
that's your
I
passage.
agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Kim here is
Great
asking us a
support.
question. How can we make sure it remains a passion over time with difficulties?
Well, see, this again, going back to your why, Kim, and by the way, like what I was saying earlier about the vision, you have vision today, right? That has to be your North Star, your moonshot vision. So that's your direction. But you need to keep checking in on it to see if it's still relevant. And
Yes.
what I meant by relevant earlier, it's not just outwards, it's inwards, because
Yes.
you're on a journey. Whatever you believe today is not what you'll believe in a year or two's time. So you have to ensure whatever your passion is, your journey evolves with that, because you can't, if you stay rock solid on one journey, it will become a stress. It'll become hard. It will not align to your beliefs, your values, and that will not transfer into good, healthy visions. It's so important to continually adapt your beliefs and your journey together. It's so, I can't stress that enough, because you change, and most entrepreneurs will reinvent themselves about 3 or 4 times in their career. That's fine,
Cool.
and in fact, it's really, really healthy. Because you learn more about life. And the whole point of being an entrepreneur is what you learn, you give back. So whatever that is, like my goal is to help businesses at this moment in time. But my long-term goal is I want to help people achieve their goals personally. That is my long-term passion because I love helping people. But that's for now, my passion is to help companies. But my journey will take a turn at some stage.
Great, great words, Shay. I cannot add anything to that. I totally agree with you. Nidal Hekel is sending his regards also, and
I know that.
Tulika thanking you for the
You're
advice.
welcome, Kalika.
Thank you, thank you. And Tess Neyman is joining us with a great quote: "If you do business for money, you're bound to
Well
lose." I
said.
totally,
Well
totally agree.
said
Well
to
said.
that. I tell you, that's brilliant.
Tess, of course, is a great coach, and she helps a lot of people getting jobs all over the world. We send the regards to Tess. Tulika here
Yeah.
is having a
I wonder
purpose
if
of
I can
life.
add one more
Tulika.
piece of,
Yes,
yeah,
please.
one more piece of to say, so to Tez's point, if you're in business to make money, you won't last very long because it
Yes,
won't abide or align, and it won't work long term for your health. I believe the only thing you should be making money from is the thing that you love,
yes,
because then it's honest, then it's sincere, it's coming from the heart. You're giving the best value you can, and the consequence of helping people is revenue. Revenue should not be the goal. It's the consequence of doing amazing work with amazing services with amazing customers. So that's my opinion, and I think that to
I
me is what I learned the hard way over life, and I can't stress that enough. Make sure
I,
you only
I
make money
agree,
through
and
what you love.
also giving back to the society and giving back to the
Yeah.
environment, not only thinking about profits and money. And
Mm.
we're seeing more and more companies now moving towards sustainability, and this is
Yes.
both healthy economy and will make sure that you sustain your business more and more. I totally agree with you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Dr. Lap Singh is very active with us today, and I love that. He's saying structure follows strategy is reverse, also true. What do you
Well,
think about? What's
you
your
know
take
what?
about?
There's so many answers to this question, Doctor. It
Yeah,
depends on the level. I believe whatever strategy you have, it has to have structure. You have to have a system. And I have actually a process called the Strategy House of Excellence. That's my structure,
yeah,
but it's very hard to like when you're on the ground looking upwards, it's a very different lens. So I do believe structure follows your strategy, and success will follow structure, because when you have structure you can measure, tweak, and improve all the way. But does strategy follow structure? Like, do you know what, here's an idea. When you put your strategy in place, right, like if you people do companies do these strategy once offs at the end of the year, maybe November,
Yeah.
December. They said, oh, let's set the strategy for the year, right? And
Yes.
then they don't do anything to implement the strategy, and they wonder why it didn't succeed. But here's the thing: if you put this structure in place with your strategy, you don't need those meetings at the end of the year because it's going to be tweaking it all the time. So the strategy then becomes momentum. And you don't need. You may want to say, well, do you know what? I want to open a revenue stream in this marketplace or change something, but your strategy is evolving every month, every quarter, every 6 months. So you don't need those big strategies all the time. Just in the beginning to get that engine moving.
True. I totally agree with you. And you need to keep things moving and going on. Nidal also sending his regards. It's always essential to share success and be grateful for the journey. Absolutely,
Absolutely.
my friend Nidal
Yeah.
nailed
And
it.
let me tell you about strategy. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Yes,
The journey. The
yes,
destination is one endpoint in a year, 2 years. Even when I'm training for a marathon, the marathon itself is just the point of me becoming the person who can actually run 26 miles or 42K and all the
yes.
things I've had to learn and do and implement mentally, to be able to say I can run. So it's the journey. Absolutely. Well said, Nada.
Well said, Nidal. Well said, Nidal. Our friend Carl Sean Watkins here is joining also,
Carl,
and
welcome.
a great guy.
Thank you.
Yes, great point with the importance of strategy. We're thanking you, Carl, for joining us at the end of the show, and really we're so happy to have you, Shay, today. And it was amazing to know all about your story and to take all the tips from you about sales and strategy. Thank you so much, and thank you for all the audience
My
who joined
pleasure.
us today. Yes, and we'll
Yeah,
see
thank
you
you everyone for
soon,
listening. I
Shay.
hope, yeah, you will indeed. If anyone wants to get in
I
touch,
hope we
please
added
do. It'd be
some
an honor
value to
to
all
help.
our
Thanks very
audience.
much,
Yes.
Ahmed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.